What's up, everybody? My name is Alex. I am the host here at the Swole Friends podcast, as well as a co-founder and CEO here at Swolverine. Swolverine is an endurance athlete and active lifestyle brand. We have over, 34 different products now, which are all clinically dosed, proprietary blend free, and scientifically proven effective. Today, though, oh my gosh, so excited, Phil. I'm so excited to have you. We have Phillip Muscarella on the show. He's a Swolverine athlete, a full-time personal trainer. He is an Invictus team member, competing as a rookie at the 2024 CrossFit Games. I feel like we've been waiting for this for you forever, which has really not been forever, but it's just so exciting to have it here. And the CrossFit Games are just in a week, which is insane. So he's also a husband, a soon-to-be father, which is so exciting with Meg. Oh, man, and so much more. So I'll stop talking. Phil, welcome to the show. Super excited to have you.
I'm excited to be on. Honestly, thanks for having me. It's you have been a support for me in my whole journey. So it's just like you said, it feels like it's been forever, but it's here and it's less than a week away. So let's go. Let's talk about it.
It's so exciting. So I don't know, give me like kind of the scoop on the season. What's been like, what have been the fun parts? What have been the highlights? But what's been kind of like the shit you've been through?
Well, competing on a team has just been different than an individual, like it's been so much more fun. Honestly, I told one of my teammates the other day, I was like, I haven't had this much fun competing and training for CrossFit ever. Coming from a soccer background and playing, Division I and semi-professionally and being a team athlete my whole entire life and going to an individual, it was just different. It was way different than I anticipated. Overall, it was just harder. I put more pressure on myself. I wasn't sharing experiences. I was, just kind of like not necessarily going through the motions, but in a way it was I was putting just a lot of pressure on myself. And now competing as an individual, on a team, it's just I'm sharing experiences with my teammates, and I'm just having a lot of fun on a team, honestly.
That's awesome. And I know my camera's frozen, but can you still hear me?
I can hear you, but you have a glamorous frozen shot on my screen right now.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's the beauty of being live, though. It's just kind of like, how bad can I screw this up? So I think like so I'll work on the camera thing, but I think coming from the individual side, kind of that evolution of you, Ernie and our comment, it's been a big deal. Even we've had a lot of conversations about what to do. It's not an easy decision for you. It was hard. It was emotional. It was mental. It was logical. It was up and down. How did you get introduced to Invictus altogether and connected with the teammates that you have now?
Yeah, it was hard, honestly, because, when I was an individual and I'm going for it, like I'm all in on it, right? And I'm going for it 100%. When I wanted to do CrossFit, I wanted to make the CrossFit Games as an individual. And I kind of got lost in this, this loop or this perspective is like my career or my CrossFit career isn't successful until I qualify for the CrossFit Games. And I got in this mindset where it's like, I need to qualify for the CrossFit Games as an individual. And then, that is just a spiral effect. Like I was putting a lot of pressure on myself. I was like, really like banging my head against the wall. Like I'm going to be at the CrossFit Games. And I never really lived my life like that. I've more or less kind of lived in the moment and, appreciated what I had and accepted my journey and been okay with, where I was at now. And when I live like that, things sort of happen for me. And it's kind of, if you force something to happen, it usually doesn't happen. But when you let it happen, it happens. So I was kind of more or less forcing it to happen and like, sacrificing so much and, saying like doing all the right things, but it just didn't happen for me. And after last year's semifinals, I kind of got in this negative mindset, like kind of depressed and kind of like, questioning my self-worth and all these things a lot of athletes go through. And I was like really defining my CrossFit career individually on whether I made it to the CrossFit Games or not. And afterwards, I had gotten approached by Invictus last year to be on a team with them. I said no just because I wanted to continue the individual side and try one more full year at it.
Mm-hmm.
And after last year's season, when I was kind of like in this negative state, I was like, I do this because I get to do this. I get this because I love it. I don't have to do this. I get to do this. And I kind of wanted to refine the passion for all the sacrifice that goes into it. And I committed to a team, not just to go on a team, but a team that was going to be a top team at the CrossFit Games. And I said, I'm only going to go on a team if it's a top team at the CrossFit Games. I'm not just going team just to go to the CrossFit Games. Like, I'm going to win the CrossFit Games. And, a team, we put together a really good team. There was like a little shakeup in the beginning of the season with it, but I'm really confident in all of us as individuals and us as a team, and we're making a run for the podium, and that's like true belief in the fact that we think that we can be on the podium. But at the same time, opposite from where my mindset was last year, like, I'm fully believing in it, but I'm also really just enjoying the process and the training leading up to the CrossFit Games and doing it with my teammates, and just like literally enjoying every part of the journey with it rather than like forcing it. So it feels really good. We're really confident. We're really relaxed. There's like no anxiety, and it just feels really good, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and it's earned, not given, right? And even with teams, there's going to be ups and downs. And what were some of the things that, I guess, it doesn't have to be like super individual things, but what are some of the team dynamics? Like, what's different about training on a team? I mean, you have 4 people coming together in a facility every single day to train. I mean, you got 4 different attitudes, you got 4 different perspectives, you got 4 people who have shit going on. Like, what have been some of the hard parts about being on a team that maybe you didn't expect, having not gone team in CrossFit before?
Yeah, I got a quick reminder, like one of the first training sessions that I went, I'm a quite a bit of a distance away from Invictus. I'm a couple hours north. I'm in like LA area, so we're not able to train together all the time. I go down there. I was pretty much going down there every weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I got a very, like, from the first training sessions, I was like, oh yeah, this is what it's like to be on a team. Like, it's not all about me anymore. Like, it's not about what I want to do. It's not about when I want to do it. It's like you said, there's 4 people that all have different ideas and different processes of going through a training session. So I quickly got reminded. I was like, oh yeah, all right, it's what it's like to be on a team again. And I adjusted pretty good. I for some reason, I have this way of naturally like bringing people together and leading. It's not something that like I look for or ask for. I was a captain of my soccer team in college for my junior and senior year. I kind of formed into this leadership role for our team, and my teammate Roldan, who's a Mexican athlete, he calls me jefe, he calls me boss, he calls me big man. So I've kind of naturally come into more of a leadership position, but that doesn't mean that like we're not making decisions together. Like, I'm fully on board and speaking your mind and telling the honest truth. And, we've done a really good job of molding together and meshing together and being honest with each other and telling each other exactly how we feel all the time. And, we've become really close. Like, I honestly, I consider them part of my family. Like, they came down and stayed with me and Meg at our house. Like, we're basically like, our chemistry is as high as it could possibly get. And that was really important for me. Like, my non-negotiables were like, I want to be a top team at the CrossFit Games, and I want to be on a team with people that I enjoy being around. And, all 3 of them, Hannah, Emily, and Roldan, are like, we're really, really close with each other now and comfortable with each other. And, yeah, I think that was a big part. A big part of was getting to know each other and creating chemistry, and that happened really fast. And then it was about learning personalities and understanding how to get the most out of each other. And that's kind of what we've been working on. And I think that we're right there. Like, we know everything. We've done all the things that we needed to do to be a good team. and now we get to just put it to the test.
Well, I think that's a unique thing to do as well, and to really invest a lot of time into the dynamics, because their dynamics change event to event, right? I mean, you have enough events at the games that, it's almost like an event is a new day in a funny kind of way, right? Like, obviously I'm not speaking from experience, but in the sense of watching and being around long enough that, you might come out one heat and it might be like the worst event ever mentally. And then you might come out the next one and it might be Phil's worst event ever. Like, it's just like kind of, and so how do you join together and how do you keep each other accountable and really, on the same page? So it's going to be unique to see you guys compete. And
yeah, it's exactly what you said. And like part of our gelling together and meshing is like understanding that one person is always going to be like leading and one person's going to have to be getting carried. In like one workout, I might be getting carried, and the next workout I might be carrying, and, getting my teammates to understand that like we all have our strengths and weaknesses. And when I have a weakness, you have to carry me, and we're all going to have the opportunity to be carried and to carry. And I think, like you said, like the dynamic of the different events is going to be, an opportunity for all of us to showcase our strengths and then also showcase how well we work as a team, and hiding those weaknesses of our other teammates by picking up more work. And that's something that we have got a like really good job of, because we do have some home runs, but we also have some, weaker movements for our team, generally speaking. And, like I just been really pounding like my teammates, say, listen, like this is your time to carry me, and then I'll carry you later. And like working together and understanding that like our performances, we're a team, we're not individuals, and we get to do it together, So that's just all been part of the chemistry stuff that we've been working on and building.
Yeah. As far as kind of some insight into your life, you work full-time, you train full-time, you're on a team who's going to the CrossFit Games, your wife is pregnant, you don't live where you train, or nearby. And so talk to me about life. Like, what's been like unique challenges with that? Do you feel like it's been difficult for you? Also the nerves of becoming a father for the first time. There's got to be a lot going on in your world, and how have you been able to handle that?
It's so crazy that you say that, because like not everybody really realizes that. Like, you're my friend, like you've known me, my life, and that stuff about me. But to a lot of other people, especially the people at Invictus when I was originally going there, I was just another guy that does CrossFit, and like
guy with 12 abs and really curly hair.
This guy just comes and he does CrossFit, like that's all. People don't understand everybody's life, and that's fine. And you're not going to know, but my team, all of my teammates are full-time athletes. They get to work out when they want to work out, and they're full-time athletes. And they quickly learned when they came down and stayed with me, like, I have a full-time job and I'm an athlete on top of the other things that I have going on in my life. But they would come where I'm at now, my work sports academy, and I'd be like, all right, we only have 90 minutes in between my sessions to get this done. And the first time they came, my teammates are like warming up. I was like, no, we have to go. This, I don't get time to warm up like that. Like, we have to go because I have to be ready to coach again in an hour and a half. Like, and they're like, oh, okay. So like my time and my days are much more like boom, efficient, boom, 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 to on to the next. And so not a lot of people know that about me. Is like, I do have a full-time job, so I train in between my sessions, and I'm obviously competing to be at the best in the world at a sport. So I'm sacrificing a lot of time doing that. And then, my wife, I have a family, I have my wife at home, and she's pregnant. So just dealing with trying to balance all that and be present with her, and for her to feel that like I am not fully just focused on myself, because she's sacrificing a lot through her pregnancy, and making sure I'm being a supportive husband, making sure I'm doing my job up to standard, all while trying to fit in training for the CrossFit Games. But honestly, for me, it works out well because I'm a very regimented, detailed, like I really like to have like a routine. And if I didn't have a routine and I'm like, oh, I can sleep in and I can train when I want to train and like not have a specific schedule, it might not be the same for me. So it's like my days are jam-packed, but they're super efficient as well. And so it's definitely a balancing act, but for me, it works. And having a supportive wife who, as you know, she's like the most supportive person. She sacrifices a lot, like I said. We're debating right now whether or not she's going to be able to make it to the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, she's like really pregnant. Like
she's got like 4.5 weeks left. She's due on September 5th. And
she's like, I'm not having this baby in Texas.
Yeah, exactly. And like it means to her as much as it means to me. You know, like she's been through it all and sacrificed, if not more than me. And she really wants to be there, and I really want her to be there. But at the same time, we have to make a smart decision because she is going to be 4 weeks or whatever, 36 weeks pregnant.
I know I'm like going backwards. And
there's like a lot of stress involved with it. And like, she's like the ultimate cheerleader for me. So she would have to manage her stress. And it's a decision. It's going to be a tough decision, but it's going to be a game time decision. So we'll see.
Oh, contingency plan, right?
Yeah.
No babies in the stands.
If you come, you can't scream like you normally scream. You have to be chill.
She's like, I don't.
I mean, you know, you've seen her. If anyone has seen her at my competition, she's absolutely crazy. So, yeah.
It's like what you would want. I mean, I think what anyone would want, that support in their corner. And I know that it's so fun to be around the both of you. It's such like a harmonious, like give and take. And that sounds so mushy and silly, but like, I mean, even at the photo shoot we did, you know what I mean? And I showed up like this ball of fury because everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. But and I like come in and you guys are like, hi, welcome to the photo shoot.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no kidding. So I mean, yeah, it's like I mentioned earlier, like the process of managing everything and like the journey to get to where I'm at, it's all kind of been super special and different than most athletes, but it's my journey and my story. So
yeah, it's awesome. And I think it's inspiring too for people who, you know, want to be the athlete or think that like the time restraint or time requirements and expectations to be at that higher level, to say like, no, you can still do these things. You can still have a life. You can still have a job and provide and not be, you know, like that starving artist, so to speak, in a way. And it's nice because it makes it have realistic expectations. And it's almost as if your individual journey in the sport has prepared you for this. It's taught you the importance of regimen. It's taught you what it's like to be out on that floor. And now you get to be out there with 3 really good friends, right?
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of like kept me a little bit more mentally stable. I mean, I've struggled with mental health. I know people struggle with mental health. And, you know, when I think about my perspective, I think about I have the things that are important in life. You know, like I have a family and a wife and love that I can go home to. I have a full-time job and I have a career that, you know, that I love to do. And I have these things in my life that really matter. And CrossFit, yeah, it matters to me, but it doesn't define me. You know what I mean? And when I have that perspective on, you know, I mean, look at all the people that are struggling with mental health and being defined by where they are on a leaderboard. Like I've moved past that, and I got past that last year and I was struggling with that. But this year is really like, wow, I have everything that I could possibly want in this life. And I get to train and I get to move my body how I ask it to. And I get to do these things. I don't have to do these things. And I have the things that are important to, you know, my life. And when I have that perspective and I'm grateful for my process and my journey, I just think that more things happen more freely.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at the CrossFit Games live like with that perspective. So, I mean,
might work. Something worked. It's awesome. Talk to me about eating. How do you find time to eat? What is your eating schedule like? I mean,
it's funny that you ask. It's going back to like my teammates coming here and training with me. Like I have a certain amount of time from when my one session ends to work out until my next session begins. Mm-hmm. So like I can eat like a full breakfast burrito and then 2 minutes later be out on the floor like going through a full Metcon. Like my body's has adjusted to just being able to get food and live normally. So like a lot of people are like, I don't know how you eat before you work out, or I don't know how you're eating already after the workout. So I mean, I just get it in when I can. Like I don't really have much of a choice. So my eating is often. I eat 6 to 8 meals a day, but smaller meals. I hadn't tracked I hadn't tracked in a while. But one of my good friends and our dietitian, I was just like, hey, help me out with leading up to the CrossFit Games. And when I'm at the CrossFit Games, like, just give me some advice. And she's like, okay, well, I just need you to track for 2 days, track everything. And I tracked it. I had like 5,500 calories. I had like 230 grams of protein. And it was just like, all my numbers were like way up and I wasn't even trying. I was like, okay. So normally I'm pretty conscientious about, knowing if I'm underfueled or overfueled. And like, I'm in tune with my body and listening and understanding. So I'm not really big on like tracking and all that stuff. Like I can feel it more than I need to like see it with my eyes. But yeah, I mean, we eat, especially now that Meg's pregnant, like we're eating so clean because she's all about no toxins, none of this. We got to change this, got to change that. So pretty like natural, whole foods, getting the whole, lots of protein and carbs, avoiding seed oils and sugar. It's not really a diet that I follow. I'm not really tracking. I just kind of listen to myself. When I'm hungry, I eat. And when I know that I'm under fuel just from being an athlete my whole life and knowing how much fuel it takes to perform, I just take a couple shakes, take a protein shake after workout. If I know that I'm not going to have time to get a meal between my next client, or just stuff it down.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of funny too, because like I've had the opportunity to meet your family quite a few times and like hang out with your parents while we're sitting there waiting for your next event and some things like that. And I think that's one of the unique things about, the Swolverine dynamic and being in the same state and that kind of thing that I feel really grateful for. But it's funny because your mom, we're sitting on the banister and we're like waiting for your next like event. And she's like, so many people ask me about Phil's aesthetic. And I'm like, oh yeah, tell me more. And she's like, his whole life, everyone's been like, what are you feeding that kid? She's like, I don't know. This is just the way he's always been. He's always had 100 abs. He's always been muscular. He's always been really talented athlete, and I'm looking at your mom and she's this like gorgeous human. Great.
I got a lot of really good habits from my mom. She instilled good habits in us when we were younger about eating and quantity of eating, quality of eating. So I got a lot of good eating habits from my mom. So I don't really have to think too much about eating healthy. And we have a lot of options in California. So like generally I can eat what I want, pretty much. I'm training all the time. But for the most part, like I'm pretty conscious about what I'm putting in my body. And that's, because my mom, she taught me well. But, part of what she's mentioning is like I do have blessed to have good genes, but when you have good genes and you have a really hard work ethic and a really strong desire and you're doing things right, I was having a conversation with someone at Invictus, like, these comments that we get on social media all the time about steroids or whatever, is just like, if you knew, buddy, if you knew, you wouldn't question it, because like making health conscious decisions and sleeping good and drinking water and training a lot and doing everything right, like you can get things that people don't think are possible. But
yeah, well, it's a really functional. It's not just an aesthetic thing. It's a functional body. You're also, I think what people also underestimate is how much time they spend on their feet throughout the day, or they don't spend on their feet. I mean, you're a trainer. You train people. You teach people how to be functional and healthy and fit. So it's not like you're just sitting all day typing programming on the computer. I mean, and then you go train. I mean, how many hours are you training in a day typically?
I mean, I have my Whoop tracker, right? And so when I'm just on the floor coaching, it thinks I'm working out. Yeah. And like, cause I'm demonstrating, I'm like encouraging, and I'm showing, like I'm doing all these things. So even when I'm not working out, I'm working out. My heart rate is up all day. So I coach between 4 and 6 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
So I try not to train more than 2 hours back to back. So like today I did at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Thursday is my rest day, but normally I would I would work out from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And then I have 2 more sessions, 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So 12 and 1. And then I'd work out again from 2 to 5. And then I would have, maybe a couple PM sessions like at 5:30 or 6. So it's a full day. It's a full day and it's a lot. And I eat when I can and I warm up if I have time to warm up. But I think, like, what else would I be doing?
Mm-hmm.
Sitting at home, or like, there is a balance because, being a provider for now my family, and she's an independent contractor, so she's not able to work and she doesn't get maternity leave. So there's been some mental battles, like knowing whether or not, like, I'm doing the right thing. I could be working more to be able to support her more, support our family more, and make more money. So there's definitely been some battles with, going after this dream, but it just feels like it feels right. It feels good to be able to use my, I don't want to say prime, but my youth and my capabilities to go after something that I want to go after. Like anything else will always be there.
Yeah.
We're in the mindset of doing what you love and follow, like, and really enjoying what you do is more important than, making millions of dollars or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and have you been able to lean on people like Emily? Have you been like, how have you leaned on, whether it's your teammates or other people at Invictus, in the sense of like, she has a child, she has a husband, they're in fitness, they've been, you know what I mean? Like, do you feel like you've been able to gain some valuable lessons or insights from people who have kind of been on the path that you're headed on? I mean,
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Like, I've learned so much from each one of my teammates and learning about how they manage their lives, because everybody has something going on, everybody is dealing with something and everybody has something going on. And the fact of the matter is, most people, they don't really care, like, it doesn't matter. Everybody has something going on. You just, like, deal with it and you go through it. But, like, getting so close with my teammates and learning their lives and what they do have going on, and them learning my lives and learning what I actually have going on, it's like brought us really close together. And, like, yeah, like learning from Holden and Emily about how they operate with the 2-year-old running around the gym and how they live their life. Well, Dawn actually has they're actually 4. They both have kids that are around 4 years old. And like how they are parenting and how they're managing their lives. And, I've been able to, like, see how they do it. Like, I don't know what my life is going to be like after I have a kid. I don't know if I'm going to still be competitive, or, like, I just don't know. It's all unknown for me. So it's given some clarity about, like, what could be a possibility for me afterwards.
Are you nervous?
For the CrossFit Games or for having a kid?
Both.
Yes. I mean, for the CrossFit Games, like I mentioned, like, I'm just so excited. I'm more appreciative of the journey and the process. Like, the nerves haven't really hit me yet. I'm sure I'm going to get nervous, like, once I'm in the stadium and the crowd's going and stuff, but, like, there's no pressure. There's no anxiety with it. It's kind of like, I get to do this. Why would I put any anxiousness on it? For the kid, on the other hand, I am nervous. It's a bit scary. It's the unknown. When there's unknown involved, you don't know what it's going to be like. It's a little bit nerve wracking, but the way me and Meg work together and the partnership we have, like, I know we're going to handle it, however it happens, or whatever it's going to be like. I know that we're going to be able to tackle it as a team and be good parents and make good decisions and still have a life. Like, we don't expect to not have a life, but, like I mentioned, she sacrificed a lot to do this for our family and be able to have a baby and carry a baby. So I've mentioned to her, like, listen, you're not the only one that's going to sacrifice. Like, I am going to sacrifice for our family too. And whatever that means that we have to do, if I have to take a season off or stop competing or whatever that means for us as a family, my family comes first. And that stuff is more important than anything else. So we had to re-communicate those things. And like, I am all in on CrossFit. I am going for the podium. I do sacrifice a lot of time, so much discipline, but when it comes down to it, my family and her and having a baby and that sort of stuff is more important than anything. So
yeah. And it's important for people to hear this. I mean, I think this is one of the most fun parts about having this podcast and doing these things, is so that people can be like, oh, he's human. He's he's like me. I could be like him. I should try to do as much as I can in my life, or, you know, apply myself more, or just know that that's possible. You know, that if you have these dreams and you have these things you want to do, like, just put forth your best effort and see what happens. It is the unknown, but you don't know unless you try, right?
You don't know unless you try. And like, you've been a part of my journey for a while. And what I keep saying, it's been 6 years for now 7 days. You know, I'm 7 days away from the CrossFit game. It's taking me 6 years to get there. And, you know, like, it's surreal that it's here and it's happening and I'm going, but also it's so real at the same time because I've seen it, I visualized it, I felt it. Like, it feels so normal. That's why I feel like I don't have much nerves yet. But yeah, it's literally taken blood, sweat, and tears. And yes, I have cried multiple times.
No.
Yeah.
You. It's so fun to sit here. I'm almost like taken aback, because it's like you have just such a different mentality and a different attitude, and like you have like just this vibrance about you that's like, I feel like what you've been just like searching for, I want to say savoring, but that's post fact, so not a good word, but really just like, you know, over the years and like getting to know you and watching you as like as an athlete and grow. And it's like to be able to fully step in, and but also to be present, right? And I think that's the beauty of fitness too, is it's finite, right? Our bodies are gifts. Our body, to be able to move them and lift and to cry and to laugh and to do all these things within fitness, it's such a, when you can savor the moment and really be present with that, that can create so much gratitude.
Yeah, so much gratitude. And I'm living with grace, honestly. Like, everything I'm so grateful for, because you don't know what you have until it's gone. And if you wait till it's gone to have the perspective to enjoy what you had, then it's too late. You know, like, sometimes, and it's sad that catastrophic things need to happen in order for you to have like a different perspective. And so, like, you know, like, being able to move your body exactly the way that you're asking it to move is a blessing in itself. You know, like, if anyone has ever had an injury, you know that like you can't take advantage of being able to move your body, because one day like something can happen and you can't, you know, or people are dealing with not being able to move it and you can't take it for granted. So like, literally, like what you said is just like being gracious and having gratitude for the simplest things and not waiting for something bad to go wrong in order to have that perspective, and living in the moment and enjoying the process and like enjoying the journey, because possibly I might not have another journey like this. Like, those sort of things and my perspective, that's how I've, you know, like I mentioned, like, I wasn't living with that perspective. I was living in, oh, like, I have to qualify for the CrossFit Games or else I'm not worth anything, and oh, I'm sacrificing all these things and it's making me a bad husband or a bad man, and I should be doing those other things. And it's like having all these negative thoughts. But when you're just like living in the moment and with gratitude and appreciation and enjoyment, like, I just feel like that's how energy works. And when you put good energy and you have positive thoughts, like, you project opportunities onto you. And like, if you're living in this state of mind where you're like, you know, your energy isn't out there, like, you might have an opportunity present itself, but you not see it and not walk through that door. Now I feel like opportunities are like there, and I'm just like, I'm noticing them. It's like, it's just a whole different perspective. And it's something that I've been working on a lot. It's something that I help my clients with. It's something that takes practice, and it's not easy. But just like we're training our bodies, we have to train our minds too. And that's a huge aspect of the sport that I think is getting more noticed and more people are coming out about it. Like you've been very vocal about your journey and your process and mental health and that sort of thing. And I think that, a lot of people are going through it, but no one really talks about it. And for me, it was just perspective and just gratitude and leading with gratitude, honestly.
Well, and it's been a hard journey. I mean, I remember being over at NorCal Classic, and you're in between events, and I like come to say like, "Oh, good job," or whatever, and you're over there just like kind of like beating the shit out of yourself, like literally, like mentally. You can see you can see Phil just he had the blinders on. You know what I mean? He had the helmet on, the visor was down, and it was like, what did I do? Like, that wasn't good enough. That wasn't what I could do. That wasn't me. And that's like, if you have that time asking yourself, like, this isn't me. Like, this doesn't feel right. What is not lining up? It's like you're saying, like that framework on the attitude and the perspective of like, am I like taking advantage of these opportunities? Am I even present with that last event? Or is it really just like grind and grind and grind and grind until this shit's over?
Yeah,
and if
exactly.
we grind until this shit's over, well, there goes your life.
And then you think about it, and then you're like, wait, I'm doing this, but I'm not even like enjoying it. I'm just like doing it, and you're beating my head against the wall. Like, gotta go through the motions, gotta train 4 hours a day, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta do this. I'm gonna make it the CrossFit Games, and you're just like living in this cycle of like all this time has passed, but you didn't really you weren't living in that moment. You weren't understanding what you're doing, and like this year has been completely different for me, and like I've just been having fun. I'm so happy with like my teammates and like the experiences. It's just like, it's kind of sad. Like I went down last weekend and trained in San Diego. I was like, you guys, this is like, the games are here. Like, I don't want it to be here yet. Like I'm having too much fun. I don't want it to be over, It's just like, I haven't had this much fun before. So, and time has been going by so fast because it's been like so fun, So
I have like the chills. I think like anyone listening who's like a former athlete knows that feeling of like the last dance. You know what I mean? Like, not saying it's the last dance, but it's like, the end of the season or the tournament where you could be eliminated or whatever we're relating to it on. It's like, it's finite, and it's like our bodies, and it's a really good lesson on life. It's amazing how much CrossFit teaches us about life and how to be as a human, and like how to live out your values and live honest and true to that, which I think is pretty cool. Hans here in the comments, congratulations on making the games, Phillip. Pleasure to compete against you in the years past.
Thanks, Hans. Appreciate the support, brother.
Yeah, Hans has been grinding. He's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he has been grinding. You can see it. I follow his journey too, and like, I think it's just about being patient, trusting your process, enjoying the time, really appreciating the things that matter in life, and things happen. And
do you have advice for someone who maybe was in your position previously, like had been to semifinals or kind of maybe somewhere in the semifinals pack, whether it's top half, lower half, maybe thinking about teams, not sure if it's right for them, kind of that internal conflict you had? What advice would you give someone, or what tools could you provide or insight on what they can look for, what they can ask themselves to figure out if team or individual is right for them?
I would say that, you got to listen. It's hard to say to just listen to your heart, because that doesn't allow you to make decisions. But I think you got to see what your trajectory is and like kind of like visualize where you see yourself in the future. And you got to kind of understand what's going to give you more pleasure. And if individual success and going through it alone and accomplishing a goal that you set out for yourself by yourself is something that is like a drive for you, that's going to give you a good amount of happiness, then cool, then go for it. As long as you're not taking advantage of your process, like you have to really like look at your day-to-days and make sure that you're not just grinding, like we said, or going through the motions because you want to accomplish this goal. Like you have to truly enjoy what you're doing. And no matter what happens, it's not going to affect your happiness, whether you accomplish the goal or don't accomplish the goal. if you're really living in the moment and enjoying the process of it, nothing can really affect you. The highs and lows, you're kind of like this neutral, like, I'm grateful for what I have and what I'm doing, and I love my process. And if that's being on an individual and training in your garage by yourself and blasting the music and, doing that, I've done that. Sometimes I need it and it feels good. And it's just like doing it alone, not necessarily alone. You can never do it alone. You have to have support. You have to have people like you. You have to have, people that you can enjoy and do it with, whether you're an individual or not. But I think just look at yourself in the future, look at yourself in the present as well, and kind of see what is giving you the most amount of gratefulness. And I think it'll be easy to tell for you to know whether or not to continue as an individual or go on a team. Like, they'll have their pros and cons, obviously, in different aspects of things. But, me going on a team and be like, oh, wow, it's not all about me anymore. Like, I got to make decisions. All right, you guys, what do we think about this? How are we doing this? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? I'm like a mediator, and getting different people's opinions and different strategies and going about different workouts, saying, oh, that didn't work. Let's try a different way. And learning those different things through, trial and error throughout the season. I think that if you actually are in the present and what's giving you the most amount of joy, I think it'll be easy decision to figure out whether to go indie or go team.
Cool. I love it. Can people work remotely with you, or do you mainly work with people or coach people in person?
I mostly do in person. I do have an online platform that I do some online programming with. I just use a normal True Coach app that, I'm not really I don't have thousands of followers because it's pretty individualized.
Phil is really tech savvy, you guys. He's so tech savvy.
You guys should have seen me logging on. No, I do online training as well. So if that's something that people are interested in, I do that. The way that I coach, this is a whole nother conversation. Just because I compete in CrossFit doesn't mean I coach CrossFit. I'm not in a CrossFit gym. I'm not in a box. I think that CrossFit is a term that generalizes functional fitness. There's no patent on wall balls. There's no patent on a back squat. You know what I mean? Exercise is exercise, and you can do it in a way that is beneficial to any population. So if you want to be a competitive CrossFit athlete, you got to train a certain way. If you want our general population, 40-year-old woman, to be healthy, you train a different way. You don't train the same for everybody. So there's exercise for everybody, and I work with all different populations. So pretty accommodating as far as individualizing. I'm not just sending like a broad CrossFit program to everybody, so something out there for everyone.
I love that. Really individualized approach, and personal goals, and taking that into consideration. And I think from a just human standpoint, you're really easy to talk to and communicate with. So from a client standpoint, that's also present. You're going to be heard and listened to. And so I don't know if you guys are interested. Definitely message Phil. Even pick his brain. He's really responsive. He's really encouraging. If you have questions about fitness or just about his journey, how to kind of get inspired, just reach out to him. Phil, what are you looking forward to most for next week? When do you even get to Texas? Do you know?
I'm leaving on Saturday. We're getting there a few days early to get adjusted, get used to the heat. It's going to be hot out there. So yeah, I'm leaving on Saturday. I'm just excited. I'm really excited about creating memories with people these relationships that I formed, I'm creating memories, not just for myself. It's for, people that have been there with me, like my brother who got me into CrossFit. He's going to be there. We've always watched every CrossFit Games and talked about it. Now I'm going to the CrossFit Games. He's going to be there, sharing those memories with my loved ones and people that care, like my brother, and creating the memories with my teammates. And, like I said, they're basically my family now. I'm just I'm just trying to just enjoy the process and the memories that I'm going to be creating because it's going to be over like that, you know, like, and I don't know, I'm not projecting or thinking about what's going to happen later. I'm just trying to live in the moment. And that moment at the CrossFit Games is something that I've worked really, really hard to get to. So I'm just going to like stand out there. I'm going to take a breath and look at all the people that are there and just enjoy the moment. That's what I'm most looking forward to.
I'm just so happy for you. It's going to be so rad. We're very, very excited to meet or to watch you, to meet you. Right. No, just watch you be out there and like be in the moment and be in your zone and do your thing. It's going to be so fun. We're really, really proud of you.
I appreciate you, Alex, and your love and support. You've always like kind of supported and believed in me. And yeah,
I fed you supplements while you were dying.
Yeah, I know. It's like, that's not mean. Like, it's even if I was an individual, like there's more to it than just you as an individual. And like, it's, if you're doing it for yourself, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, you know, like, yeah, you have goals and aspirations you want to accomplish, but like sharing experiences with other people is just as important. And, you know, being able to share experiences with you and like those memories that we created, like when I was dying at the lake and you're giving me supplements and like just like, you know, shared.
The only time Phil could not chug a burrito. It was the only time he couldn't get anything down, I swear. I was
my God, so many stories, so many stories. And that's the beauty of this sport is like you create memories and stories. And in that moment, I literally thought I was dying. But now we look back at it and we laugh about it. So it's just those memories that I'm going to create out there. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
That's awesome, man. What Swolverine products are you taking with you? What's your regimen for everyone listening?
Okay, Swolverine, I'm going, well, I think it's going to be a little bit different at the games, but definitely the intra, definitely the beta-alanine, definitely the pre and the creatine. Those are like my non-negotiables workouts. I'm definitely going to bring the turmeric and the krill oil just to keep my inflammation down. My, you know, trying to manage that. And then in between, you know, if I'm able to eat or not, I'm bringing the carbs and the protein.
Cool. I love it. Well, it's awesome, Phil. Is there anything else you want to say to anyone who's listening? Say hi to Mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, Megan.
I would just say, I think we kind of touched about it. And if there's anything that I can like project or help people with is like the mindset part of it. Like, just like embracing your moments, embracing your journeys, you know, kind of just being gracious for what you have and enjoying the things that you have and not thinking about the things that you don't have. And just, yeah, I mean, if I could help people with struggling with mental health, like that's my biggest giveaway. You know, I love helping people. I love helping people create become their best self, but also understand, you know, what's going on up here, because that's a big thing that a lot of people struggle with. I struggled with it. I know, you know, it's just, I want to be a resource for people that are going through that and understanding how to manage different things going on in your mind. And, yeah, I mean, if I can help anyone in any way, like I feel like that's my calling in life, and I just enjoy helping people. So please just reach out, like send me a DM or whatever. I'd love to help you in any way that I could.
That's awesome, Phil. And for our audio listeners, his Instagram handle is at PMUSKY55.
P Muskie 55, baby.
What's up with the 55?
5 was always my number playing soccer, and I don't think I could just use one, like it was taken or something. I don't know. Instagram's been around long.
Just each year add a new 5. So stupid. All right, Phil. Well, thank you to our listeners. Make sure to subscribe to the Swole Friends podcast. We go live on YouTube for all of our recordings. So we also have a lot of fun there and post the audio on, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. So make sure to go follow Phil, cheer him on through the 2024 CrossFit Games, say hello, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.